Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Orphea and in today's video I'm gonna be talking all about my half sleeve. So for those of you who might be new to my channel, hi, my name is Kathy and online you can find me as Orphea or Orphea333 and I absolutely love tattoos and piercings. If you are not into tattoos and piercings, then feel free to skip this video as I'm gonna be talking about my half sleeve, how I got it, which elements are incorporated in it, etc. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, first things first, the artist who did my tattoo is just one artist, so he is the only one who has worked on this arm. He's called Isa Tattoo. He was located in Belgium, in Brussels, in a shop called Hanya Tattoo. He's absolutely amazing and unfortunately he's leaving the country, he's moving to the United States. Now, I actually got the first piece of my sleeve done about a year ago, so more or less a year ago I actually got this skull tattoo done. It's a realistic skull tattoo based upon the skulls that they use for anatomy classes, etc. But it is really nice and flowy because it has some smoke elements going over and under it to really make it a nice flowing piece with my arm. And when I got my skull done, I actually knew that I wanted a half sleeve, I just didn't know what I wanted. So with lots of talking to my artist while my boyfriend was getting tattooed by him while I was getting my Lucky 13 tattoo, I kind of formed an idea of what I wanted. So I wanted a women figure, a necromancer. I wanted something very dark and eerie looking. We were talking about the other games that I play which have necromancers in them, and that's how we came to Liliana from Magic the Gathering, which is the character that I base my entire playing deck around. So we got a Liliana on my arm. This is based off of one of the original artworks from Liliana, but changed a tiny bit so it would fit my arm and would fit the flow of what I personally wanted better. So we have Liliana here, so we have her belly somewhere around here, and then it just kind of pulls upward. Now, I didn't want it to go into my armpit. Why? Because I was doing laser hair removal at the time. I stopped in the meantime because it's just way too expensive for what it is, at least where I was going. Anyhow, so we didn't really connect it all the way up into the armpit. I think that might have looked better, but for now I'm really happy with it, and adding black is always an option. Removing ink is very hard. So we have the hair kind of flowing up in here, we have one arm connecting here, casting the spell, so we have lots of smoke connecting the pieces. And then finally we had some space left, so we had a few gaps in between the elements of my arm. And what I did is I actually took out my playing cards and I spread them out on the table, took some pictures of some graphics that I really liked, and really fast we just came up with a swarm of bats. Now, these bats are pretty mean looking, I absolutely adore them, but I know that for some people they might be too scary, too gory looking or whatever, but basically we have bats flowing at the bottom of the arm, so connecting the smoke here and then going up here connecting Liliana to the skull. So I have, I think it's 5 bats spread out over my arm to fill the gaps in between the tattoo. And that is basically what creates my half sleeve. So we have the skull, which was actually a separate tattoo to begin with, then we have Liliana to connect the inner arm to the outer arm, and some bats to fill the whole up. And that is basically my half sleeve. Now people are gonna ask, does it have any meaning to you? Nope, not at all, except that I really love the way it looks and that it's just something to represent me, and it doesn't have to have any meaning for me personally to be an awesome sleeve. And now for the fun aspect of the tattoo, it took 5 sessions to get my half sleeve done, including the skull tattoo. So 1 session for the skull, 2 sessions for Liliana, 1 session to outline the bats, and then 1 session to finish the bats and make some small details and corrections on Liliana, so basically touch-ups. And I also had some touch-ups done on the skull last year when I got it. So 5 sessions, which each were, I think, 3.5 to 4 hours. So it is a lot of time that goes into getting a sleeve, but I think that with the amount of detail that goes into these tattoos and the amount of work it is basically to get tattoos, that it is totally worth it. Now, people are gonna ask for the price of this tattoo as well, and you have to calculate more or less 100 euros per session. So if we take 3.5 to 4 hours per session times 5 is 20 hours, more or less. I'm rounding it upwards. If you do that, times 100 is about 2,000 euros for an entire half sleeve. I don't think I actually paid that much for it, but I mean, I spread the amount out over a few months. So I got this skull done last year, and then I had the money to finish the rest of the half sleeve this year, spread out over 4 months. So February, March, April, and in May we finished it. So that's the way that I was able to afford getting my half sleeve done. I don't recommend spending that much money in such a short amount of time if you haven't saved up for it. I personally save up for my tattoos and then get them done. And no, I personally don't think that 2,000 euros is expensive for a half sleeve. I don't think I paid that much for it actually. I think it's somewhere between 1,500 and 1,700 euros for the entire sleeve. I think that's very reasonable considering this is going to be on my body for the rest of my life. It took a huge amount of precision work and detail work. It is a custom piece and I absolutely love it, so I couldn't be happier with my half sleeve. I am not bummed at all about the price it cost me. I knew this going into it, that it would cost me some money, and I was totally prepared for it. And then another interesting part of this tattoo, the pain. How was the pain on getting tattooed on my arm? It really depends on the area. Now, this part of my arm was really the easiest. If you're considering getting a arm tattoo, like the outside is really the easiest part to get tattooed. A small part of the upper arm that hurt just a tiny bit was really on the ball of the arm, where there's bone directly underneath it, but since there's just smoke for me on that part, it didn't really hurt and it was over very quickly. Now I'm gonna go into the most painful area right now, which is here, which is the inner arm. So from her face more or less upwards. That one hurt like a motherfucker. I have my back tattooed, I have my behind of my legs tattooed, but this one was, I think, the most painful together with the spines of my back. This part is really not nice at all to get tattooed. I had to really push myself to get through the sessions. It's also why it took one session longer than we originally planned for, because it was just too painful to sit through 4 to 5 hours, which I usually do, of getting tattooed. Now, the rest of her body was okay. So the center of the body was not too bad. And then once you get here closer to the inner arm where her belly is, I'm really fortunate that there's nothing really dark there, because that part was really sensitive and really not nice to get tattooed at either. Then we have the pieces connecting at the bottom. These didn't really hurt. It was more like not really comfortable because I had to bend my arm a lot, but the actual tattooing didn't hurt that much. And then we have the back side of the arm, so here starting from the behind of the arm, and this part really tickled. So this part was really painful and this part really tickled. Now this was a walk in the park for me after the inner arm. So personally for me, it wasn't really a painful tattoo as a whole, but this inner arm part near the armpit, so the upper half of the arm, was extremely painful. So if you're considering getting a tattoo on your inner arm, go for it, but be prepared for some pain, because it wasn't easy for me personally to sit through, and I have a lot of tattoos. So considering that, get your outside arm tattooed. It's really easy, it's nothing to worry about, but the inside is a lot more painful. Now, the thing that most people have also asked me is, will it affect my job? And the answer is no, not at all. I always wear things that have sleeves. I don't like having my armpits on show. Like, the dress I'm wearing today is okay for my spare time, but for work I would never wear anything without sleeves, without having at least a top or a blazer or something on top of it. My boss, my employer, doesn't mind me having tattoos. They know I have tattoos, they know I have piercings. It's not a problem for them at all. Do I regret it? No, not. Absolutely not. I love my arm tattoos. I love that I have a half sleeve now. The contrast with my other arm, which doesn't have anything at all, is really big. So I am already planning on what I'm gonna get on that arm, but it's not gonna be for this year, probably it's gonna be for somewhere in the future. For this year I still have one tattoo that is planned. It's the other moth on the back of my other leg, so I already have one moth on my right leg. I'm gonna get my left one done as well. So this was my video about my half sleeve tattoo. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you still have any questions at all, feel free to ask me in the comment section below. I will be doing a tattoo Q&A video pretty soon. I will be posting it on Instagram to gather questions, so if you have any questions you want to ask, keep an eye out on my Instagram, where I will be launching a tattoo Q&A post pretty soon. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I make new videos every week and I would love to have you for every single one of them. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye!